Hi there, I'm Megan. I'm the marketing manager at Dundalk Renaissance, and today's Lunch and Learn is about housing counseling and loans and how to make yourself an ideal candidate when you're applying for a mortgage. I'm joined today by Tracy Carroll from Rosedale Federal and Tasha Gresham James from Dundalk Renaissance, and we're going to just get into it. Tracy, you want to take it away?
Sure. Hi, I'm Tracy with Rosedale Federal. I'm a senior loan officer, and I've been with Rosedale for 5 years, and I've been in the mortgage business for 28 years, my whole life pretty much. If you're not familiar with Rosedale Federal, we are a local Maryland bank, and we've been around over 100 years. We have very competitive interest rates and a lot of great variety of loan programs to assist you. I'm here today to talk about the importance of housing counseling with an agency like Dundalk Renaissance as a part of the home buying process. Housing counseling is a critical part of the home buying process. They will work with you to get prepared in many ways. Once you contact a lender, someone like me, things can start to move pretty quickly and you need to be prepared. That's why it's best to start with a counseling agency. In addition, in order to be the best candidate to buy a home, you need to know some things. You need to know what's on your credit report, and you need to know your credit score. Housing counseling will assist you with this, so there are no surprises when you go to your lender. You need to have some type of savings. Being able to buy a home with no money is nearly impossible. Rosedale requires a 3% down payment from the buyer's own funds. That means it can't be a gift, seller contribution, or a grant. It has to be your own money. For example, if you're buying a $100,000 house, you need to have $3,000 in some type of an account in order to put towards the transaction. Another thing you want to do is to keep your documents in order. Your W-2s, pay stubs, tax returns, bank statements, have those readily accessible. You know, some people say, oh, I e-file my tax returns. I don't have copies of those. But even if you e-file, you need to keep copies of those on your computer, desktop, so that you're easily accessible to give to your lender, because they're going to need those types of things. In addition, divorce decrees, separation agreements, bankruptcy papers. A lot of times people say, oh, my attorney has those. You should have copies as well that are readily accessible. Let's see here. Try to keep things the same during the process. If at all possible, do not change jobs and do not make any big purchases during the process. But if something does come up, make sure you contact your mortgage rep to go over it with them to see how that could impact your loan application. We understand that life happens and things do happen, and it's just important to, if something comes up, just contact your loan officer to see how that could impact your loan application. All these things and more are covered during housing counseling, and that's why it's an important first step. Once you've received your counseling, then you'll be advised to start looking for a lender like me. Things you want to look for in a lender: what type of credit score requirements do they have? Rosedale just has a 640 middle score requirement. And we don't base your interest rate on your credit score. So if you meet my 640 middle score requirement, you get my best interest rate. This is huge. Most lenders do change the interest rate based on your credit score. But not at Rosedale. So that's a huge thing for us. What type and how much are their lenders' fees? You want to compare interest rates and lenders' fees between lenders. Lenders charge application fees, processing fees, underwriting fees, loan origination fees. And you want to compare these because they can vary greatly. Rosedale just charges a $595 processing fee. Some lenders So again, as far as the down payment requirements, you want to find out what those are. And along those same lines, you want to see what kind of grant programs they work with. Rosedale works with pretty much all the grant programs that are available. These are all things to consider.
You all post your credit scores online too, right? You update them on your website and people can view them from there. Not your rates, rather.
Our rates, all of our rates are online and they're 100% accurate. If you look on the website and see an interest rate and you call me and ask me what my rate is, then I'm going to give you the exact same rate that's showing on the website. So yeah. And lastly, I would say always to shop for a mortgage before you seriously start shopping for a house. It's more fun to shop for a house than it is for a mortgage. But give yourself the confidence of meeting with a loan officer to find out how much you qualify for, and more importantly, how much of a monthly payment you're comfortable paying first before you get your heart set on a specific house. I think that's all I had for today.
That is great information, Tracy. Thank you so much for sharing that, because that is what we do in housing counseling. We make sure before you go to meet with a lender or just shop for a mortgage, we make sure that you have all of your ducks in a row. Like you have your credit score. We do soft pulls on your credit so that way we can see where you are and where you need to get to. So if we do a soft pull on your credit and you have a 580, we can help you get to that 640. So those are the things that housing counseling helps with, just to make sure you are that best candidate. We make sure that before you meet with Tracy, we already tell you to have all of your documents, before you get to Tracy. So that way you're not kind of fumbling or like, oh, I got to find this, or I have to reach out to my attorney or my tax person to get these documents, because we make sure that you have all of those before you shop for your mortgage, to make sure that you are the best candidate, because you want Tracy to give you that pre-approval letter that says, this is how much you can afford, this is how much you have been pre-approved from Rosedale Federal to buy a house. And that letter goes so much further than just kind of hoping and wishing, oh, I hope I can afford a $200,000 house, when you already know, because you have that pre-approval letter. But we make sure in housing counseling that you have everything all your ducks are in a row. And if you need to make sure like you're on budget, Tracy just talked about making sure that your house payment, your mortgage payment is where you want to be. We can help with that. So, we work in tandem very well, and it is a really good seamless process. So we are part of that team that helps people get into their home. And we also help current homeowners, because you might want to look to Tracy to get a refinance. So we can help you make sure that, if there's any debts that you're trying to eliminate before you go to refinance, we can help with that process. So we really do work in tandem, and it makes it so seamless for anyone, even if you're not a new home buyer, you're just coming back into purchasing a home, or if you are already a current homeowner and looking to refinance. So that's how housing counseling helps. And thanks, Tracy, for just reiterating that for us, because a lot of people, they wonder, like, well, why am I doing housing counseling? Maybe it's just for the grants, but it's not. It's so much more, so much more.
So we have a little bit of time left, and I kind of just want to address the elephant in the room of no money down for a house, or very little money down for a house, and just kind of cover why a lot of people, including us, our grant requires that you have skin in the game as well. For the grant, we have a $7,500, so $7,500 savings component that you need to meet before you can use our grant for down payment or closing costs. And so let's talk about why. Tracy, do you want to go first about why Rosedale has that requirement and like how that helps clients and their own stability?
Yeah, we have that requirement because, again, like you said, we feel like the customer should have some type of an investment into the transaction. And, if they can put 3% of their own money into it, then they're vested in that home, and they're less likely to walk away. And if something bad goes, something goes wrong, and more likely to really fight to keep that house if they've got something invested in it. So we've always required that, and so that's kind of the reason why we want you to have some type of investment into the transaction.
And that's the reason why we do. And it's just also, it shows that you're prepared. We were actually talking to someone else, and they mentioned it's a really, I mean, it's a cute phrase, but you can't purchase a house on layaway. We want to make sure that you do understand that your money earnest deposit that you're putting on the contract, that you have that, money for inspections, money for your appraisal, all those prepaid costs that you need to have, paid before you actually go to the closing table. So we want to make sure that people are ready, and if you're buying an older home, you might need a little bit of a little bit of a savings after the purchase to either replace something or to renovate. We just want to make sure people are prepared to buy a home, because it's not something lightly. It's not a pair of shoes or a handbag or even in many cases, a vehicle. It's not as lightly as that. So we want to know that people are serious, and when they have a savings, that shows us, not only as housing counselors but as lenders, that you're serious about this transaction and that you are intentionally entering it, with the intention of buying your home and staying in it. So that's really, that's the focus.
And then lastly, sometimes things go wrong once you're in a home and you find yourself in a situation where you can no longer pay your mortgage or you're behind on the mortgage. How should a homeowner handle that?
Well, I would definitely say reach back out to your housing counselor. We work hand in hand with your mortgage servicer. And Tracy, you can kind of lend to this a little bit. Once they get their mortgage from you, does it stay with Rosedale Federal, or do, like, after 60 days, after 90 days, do you move them on to a different mortgage servicer?
We don't sell our loans. We currently don't sell any of our mortgages, so we keep all of our loans. And yes, if you're having problems with your payment, we have a whole department that can help you and work with you on that. And they have modifications. They have all different kinds of programs to help homeowners that are having problems. So I would say that absolutely, first thing, to reach out to us to see how we can help you. That's what we're here for. We all want the same thing, for you to remain in your home. We're not in the business to own homes. We want you to own your home. And so, reach out to us to see how we can assist you.
Yep, definitely. And I think, and that goes, across the board. All lenders really want people to want their homeowners to remain in their home. And so if you run into any, problems, even if you realize, oh my goodness, I think next month I may not be able to make my mortgage, definitely reach out to us and let us know. Like Tracy said, Rosedale Federal, and that is a really great opportunity because they hold on to their loans. So that means that the person, even Tracy, even as the lender, the loan officer, she can make sure that you get, to the right department to make sure that your mortgage is paid or an arrangement is made. So we want to make sure, we're all invested to make sure people stay in their homes. So definitely reach out to us if you ever run into an issue. But yeah, thank you so much, Tracy. That is really good news, because not too many lenders hold on to the mortgage like further on. Some, sell it off after 60 to 90 days. So we are
Correct.
really
We're one
grateful
of the few.
for Rosedale.
Yes, it's a great thing. Yes.
Awesome. Great. Thank you guys so much. Thanks for joining us today, everybody. And we'll see you next month.